So coming up today on the Real Country File, Stephen finds another use for some wool. Angela is at a Women in Dairy event, and I go and see a small farm that's getting bigger by the day. We're with David Fryer now on his little massive tractor, and he's sowing, not planting, because it's the seeds, sowing carrots. But David grows how many different crops?
I've lost count this year, but it's about 40 to 50 different crops for our veg box scheme.
Which he harvests 52 weeks of the year, so every week he's harvesting something. So this week you're harvesting potatoes.
We've got potatoes, we've got onions down there, but we pull them early as like a large spring onion, so it looks different in the veg box. We've got kohlrabi on the top field.
What's kohlrabi?
Kohlrabi, well that's one of the most popular vegetables in Germany. It's basically the swollen stem of like a broccoli plant. So really put it in for a couple of weeks and it gets ready really fast. So which is, this time of year, that's kind of perfect. And then we've been picking kale. What else have we got? There's chard down there. We didn't actually put it in this week, but it is ready to pull. And then there's some rhubarb back at Olly, and yeah, that's what we pulled off these farms. But we work with a chap in a glass house, so we're getting spinach, mixed leaf salad, lettuces, tomatoes. Sorry, just
getting the end of the run. So is it every week or every fortnight you deliver?
So we deliver every week. I started off fortnightly because when I started on my own with Becky, my wife, we were just so busy that we just said, let's just do it fortnightly. But then some customers wanted it weekly, so we then went to week. And it was going really well. And then the pandemic hit, and obviously everyone wanted food delivered. So then it went really, really well. So we've got about 30 staff helping us.
And you were saying before that's the big problem at the moment.
Yeah, well we've got great team of delivery drivers, a fantastic team of pickers and packers, the guys that pick in the fields with us, got a lovely team. But finding like a person that can do all the different skills of all the precision sowing that we do, all the different crops, it's quite a unique position that I reckon for a tractor driver. But also like they've got to work with
52 different crops.
Yeah, exactly. How many crops do you grow?
Wheat, barley, beans, oilseed rape, sunflowers, spring barley, 5 or 6.
5 or 6. And that's probably...
And we have one harvest a year.
I know, yeah. And it lasts about 6 weeks, I suppose. I used to do that on my dad's farm, and you do get like... Sometimes I think, oh God, that'd be a lot nicer, you know, you get some downtime from different tasks. But the rhythm of the farm, like every week it's busy. It means you can employ more people. You've got really good cash flow because of it. So we found it works really well. And kind of what helped was the fact that no one was really doing it in this area. So we just were able to grow into that space, which has been really good for us.
So how big an area do you actually go with the boxes?
Started off just delivering around like Olly, Lynn, Knutsford, Northwich, Warrington. And then as we grew with Altrincham, we go as far as Buxton now, North Manchester, the whole of Greater Manchester, all of Cheshire, over to Chester, and we started doing Liverpool as well, and South Lancashire, so Lee, South Wigan, Bolton, we go there. We even go as far as Ramsbottom.
And do people sort of subscribe to a box getting delivered every week, every fortnight, or do they dip in and out?
I don't think people like the word subscription. It's just like if you want a box, you have one. You have your own account on our website, and you can just have a box as little as often as you want. So you can skip for holidays, you can skip for a weekend. You can even choose exactly what content you want in the box as well. So we like when I first started, I put most of my attention on the creating the right software. So, as you know, a few years ago we just had some old equipment and old second-hand stuff, and I put all any profits we had, I was just investing in the software, because it had to be as good as like the very big companies like Able and Cole and Riverford. Otherwise, customers just don't, they need something that they can log into and change and control their box that's coming that week. Definitely the software was the best investment we ever did, and that really helped during the pandemic, because we'd just done a big expansion of the software just before the pandemic hit, and that was a godsend really, because it just meant loads of customers could log on easily, control their box, and that really helped us grow.
The pandemic, did it go up 200%, 300%, 400%?
Well, we were doing about 350 boxes a week, and it was just before the pandemic. As you know, like, I go to these artisan markets every weekend. We go to the artisan markets, the pop-up markets that are dotted around the northwest, and more back in late 2019, early 2020, it was like more and more people were just saying, "Oh no, we don't cook anymore, we just eat out." And I was like, it's pretty tough, this veg box business. Like, there's less and less people cooking. So within a matter of weeks, we've grown 7 times, like in 3 weeks.
So 7 times the size in 3 weeks?
In 3 weeks.
That's because the shelves were empty.
Because people were banging on the door of the farm. The main weekend it got really busy was when Boris announced, like, everything's locked down, you've got to go and get food delivered now if you can. And the website was just pinging like crazy. So Becky's phone would get a ping every time a customer came through. And at first we were kind of like, wow, all those years we've been at markets every weekend in any weather, and then all of a sudden they're just coming in so easy. It's quite hard, going to market, you've got to talk to lots of people, and that's fun. You learn a lot about what people need and want by going to the markets. And often I feel like, why isn't there more farmers at these markets? There's really not that many. Even though it might be called a farmer's market, but there's like me and the cheese guy, and that's it. So I do feel farmers should. Farming's really, it's about food and people. They're the main criteria which inspired us to grow.
And YouTube.
And YouTube, yeah.
So you started with, was it only 8 acres?
It was 6.5 acres we started with, and we just planted like an acre of veg in the first year, and then at first, like, all the farmers around here just probably thought I was a bit mad doing that, but we just plodded away at it and became. I enjoyed being small because I've worked on other farms and big farms, and I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to build a farm from scratch, because you kind of don't think it's possible to start from scratch, do you? Yeah. Or like a lot of young farmers think, well, how do I get land? How do I afford the equipment? It's like, it's impossible unless you inherit it, or there's some windfall or something. But we just started really small. I had another, I was doing some part-time consultancy at the time, and just every weekend just got a few more customers, and then it became 30 customers, then it's 50 customers you're delivering to, then 100, and then it's like, oh, I better do some accounts on this and see if it actually makes anything. And I found out I wasn't actually making anything. Like, we were turning over money, but it wasn't like much left. And then it was like, okay, work out, well, how many do you actually need to make a profit? So you just religiously were doing that every week, and it just became a bit of a game, like, let's try and make a sustainable little business. And the customers like that, and yeah, it just grew from there really.
So what are you now, about 75 acres more?
So 83 acres now, yeah.
In what, 7 years?
No, 9 years.
9 now. So there you go. Start small.
Start small. We didn't really we didn't have any money to sort of chuck at it. We just sort of grew from the money we made every week. We just invested it in, like, I didn't really buy any equipment. I'd borrow equipment. I'd find some second-hand things from graveyards, you know. Like, I would like to thank Jones Engineering, because they gave me their bed former from the graveyard, and then last year I bought a new one off them, so it paid off them giving me that old bed former. Obviously we bought the parts off them to get it working again, but they just said you could have that as a free hire, and maybe one day you'll get a bit bigger, and that's exactly what happened. So
Come back as a customer, yeah.
Yeah.
So the main bit it's been able to grow is that you've cut out the middleman. It's come straight out of a field like this, straight into someone's kitchen.
Exactly.
And you've had every bit of the chain, including the delivery.
Yeah, I wrote about what's some of the supermarket philosophy in my newsletter this week. So I write a newsletter to every box that goes out every single week, and their model, I just think it's like a county like Cheshire, where there's a lot of little veg farms everywhere, and they've all but disappeared, and we're now growing like from just that 1 acre to 83 acres now. But years ago there'd have been, I reckon there must have been about 50 little farms growing, you know.
Well, even when I was younger, we grew a bit of cabbage, we grew a bit of potatoes, we had a few turnips. But it's just everyone sort of finds the niche, and for me it was sort of, well, I like combine, so it was cereals. But in reality, when the food chain's so fragile, then suddenly it all comes back in, doesn't it?
Well, there's some good land around this area, and particularly west of Manchester. You've got Woolston Moss, Earlham, all through there. That was full of veg farms growing lettuce. But I'd love to meet some of the farmers out there that have sort of given up the ghost, and you know, some of them kept all their old equipment and think it's going to come back. You know, bless them. But the supermarket, they say the supermarkets killed them off because they were just too small. And that whole area west of Manchester, you think, well, it should be growing food for the people of this area.
Yeah. So that's probably about all today with David. Maybe we'll come back in the summer a bit more and see what else he's harvesting. If you want to check him out, his website link is below this video anyway. You can go on and see the veg box scheme. So over to Stephen.
What do you do? Have you got a unique farm diversification that we can tell the rest of the UK about? We'd love to spread the love of farm diversification, giving people other ideas, just sharing if we can, knowledge sharing right across the UK. Well, chaps, the other week I was on a tree planting site, and they were a brilliant site, to be fair. They were using some new tree shelters that used wool.
Oh,
and I thought this is the way to go, because you're not going to end up with plastic littered all over countryside where trees should be planted. That's one new market. How's the state? Is it of the fleece market now? How's it for you guys? What does it cost us here, and you know, what do you get back?
We lose money.
Yeah.
It's world markets that we you know, China or wherever else our wool goes to make, and carpets. But we lose money on the wool, but it has to come off. It's for health reasons for the sheep.
So
we're in the wool board's hands.
So your message to them is perhaps look for more of them kind of modern markets then?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We hope they're doing their bit, like we try and do ours. Yeah,
fantastic product.
Yes.
I keep hearing that, you know, we need more insulation in houses, and I keep thinking, well, we're growing it on sheep's back. That'd just make sense, would it not, rather than a man-made product?
Definitely. They are apparently trying them sort of things. But yeah, there's plenty of room for improvement.
Hi, I'm Becky Fielding. This is Pulford Farm. We are a dairy farm. We've got about 400 cows here. We milk about 150, and we are producer processors. So we process all our own milk, and we bottle it all, and we sell it all on milk rounds onto the doorstep. We've got the Young Farmers here today from Turton. They're a young farm group, and they're doing stock judging. and the master judge is teaching them all about the best points of the dairy cow and how to look for the best things in a dairy cow when they're judging them. They're just practicing today, but they do competitions, which is brilliant. But it's a really good social time, and they get together and they get to learn as well at the same time.
I've got to ask you, there was a bit of a boom during lockdown for doorstep deliveries of milk.
Yeah.
Did you get a lot more customers? How's it now on the doorstep?
We're doing well. We're still with the doorstep. People are really embracing the glass bottle at the moment. They're enjoying drinking milk from glass bottles, and the recycling, which is really, really important. We also sell a lot of milk to industrial units and restaurants, hospitals, which we lost during lockdown, but we've got those back now. And we've also got a really good firm customer base for the doorstep deliveries as well.
So a positive outlook at the minute for producing and then selling your own milk.
Yeah,
You're happy at the minute?
Yeah, we're really happy doing it. It's a brilliant job. It's really rewarding when you get to milk your own cows and then actually sell it direct to the public.
Well, we've got Henry from Turton Young Farmers. Henry, what's going on behind you?
So tonight, this meeting is dairy judging, where we have to give our reasons to a judge about how we think a cow is and how it looks and how it stands and how it acts. This is important because it is part of our culture, and we need to know what a good cow looks like, because if any of us go into it into future life, then we can buy the best that we ever could. And yeah, it's just great to know and learn what a cow is and how it is supposed to look like and what a good cow does look like.
Cheers, mate. Have you judged yours yet?
No, not yet. I'm ready to give my reasons.
You better get your pen out then.
Hi, I'm Jake here. I'm from Turton Young Farmers. Our usual place of meet is at the Barlow Institute at Edgeworth. We usually meet on Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. And at Young Farmers we can do a various array of stuff, such as dairy judging, which we're doing tonight. Any type of judging really, from horses to beef to dairy, and even lamb stock judging.
Do I need to be a farmer to join?
No, anyone can join if you've got a genuine interest in the hobby as a whole. Some may call it a hobby, some may call it a lifestyle, but everyone's welcome.
So that's what Stephen's been up to. Let's see what Angela's been up to.
I'm here today at Grosvenor Farms near Chester at a Women in Dairy meeting. There are a number of women in dairy groups around the UK, but today the Cheshire branch are discussing young stock calf health and in particular the importance of hydration. So the guest speaker at today's meeting is Dr. Laura Tennant. So Laura, tell us just a little bit about what you're focusing on today.
Hi, yeah, thanks for that introduction. I'm here today, or was here today, talking about hydration in calves, about what's right and what's wrong. I want to focus on how we can get calves feeling better faster. So calves can only communicate to us that there's a problem on farm, and that's generally either not drinking milk, not finishing milk, or diarrhea. And these problems can be easily treated while intervention is early, and that's where today we've focused on feeding electrolytes. So if we've got calves with problems with diarrhea or milk intake, we're focusing on how to feed electrolytes, and we're focusing on feeding electrolytes in water, not in milk, between milk feedings. And this has brought up quite a lot of discussion with the ladies here today, is how we can get those protocols in place and how we can get calves feeling better faster. So the only way a calf can communicate to you that there is something wrong is either by scouring or not drinking milk or not finishing milk allocation. And this is something that I repeat constantly 3, 4, 5 times a day to farmers. Calves can't communicate to you that there's something wrong, they can just show you. So again, I can't say it enough, it's not the diarrhea but the consequences that lead to calf mortality. Calf diarrhea is the signal If you leave it untreated, then you will have mortality and morbidity problems. But we need to make sure that electrolyte feeds are between milk. And then what's the key thing here? We never ever withdraw milk. Please don't withdraw milk. If we draw milk from calves, especially under 4 weeks of age, we're taking away the only food source that they've got. If we don't get on top of scour, if we see a calf scouring and we let it continue to scour and we don't do anything about it, we don't hydrate, there's lots of studies now coming out that show that we can really damage the gut. That gut in the calf, the abomasum, the small intestine, can be scarred for the rest of its life.
Hi, my name's Sophie. I'm a placement student here at Grosvenor Farms. We're situated in Cheshire. We're a dairy and arable farm. We are milking 2,200 cows with around 300 dry cows at any one time, producing about 28,000 litres and milking 3 times a day.
I'm up here now in the viewing gallery for the milking parlour. They've obviously got a rotary system, and this is the end result of having all of those fit, healthy calves, is a good herd of fit, healthy milking cows. And if I just zoom in to the end section here, hopefully you can see that there's a spout of water right at the end, and cows aren't too keen to be spurted in the face of water, so that's their signal to back out, get out of the milking parlour and go back to their pen. One of the best things about these events is the chit-chat and the discussion after the meetings, and of course the catering. So I'm going to tuck into my lunch now.
So this week I've had 3.8 mil of rain in the northwest, which isn't much. We could do with a little bit more. Thanks to everyone that's been watching this week. Thanks to everyone that's subscribed. If you're not subscribed, don't forget to click subscribe. And also a big thank you to everyone that took part in this week's episode. If you've got any interesting stories, follow the links below, send them to us, get in touch. We'd love to see you on the channel. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. See you next week.